The member for Mallee has the call.
Mr Speaker, my question is to the Prime Minister. Will the Prime Minister please outline to the House how the Morrison government is taking action to keep Australians safe from threats such as Omicron COVID strain at home and abroad, and how the government is protecting Australians from faceless cowards online by holding social media giants to account for appalling online behaviour?
The Prime Minister has the call.
Thank you, Mr Speaker, and I thank the member for Mallee for her question. Our government, Mr Speaker, we have no more important responsibility than keeping Australians safe. And we face threats in the physical world, of course, Mr Speaker, threats of the instability of the region in which we live, the defence actions that we must take, Mr Speaker, the threats of terrorism. There are many threats, health threats and many others that we face in the physical world, but we also face those threats in the digital world as well, whether that's the threat of cyber attacks, Mr Speaker, or indeed those attacks that are made on Australians every day, anonymous attacks that are made online in a cowardly way, Mr Speaker. But in terms of health, we are responding, of course, to the most recent strain that has come, Mr Speaker, in relation to COVID, the Omicron strain. Now, we have had many of these variants, Mr Speaker, that have already come to Australia. We've been able to address and deal with those. And in terms of Omicron, Mr Speaker, we are undertaking sensible, balanced and proportionate responses, working closely together with the states and territories. Tomorrow afternoon, evening, Mr Speaker, the Premiers, the Chief Ministers and I will be meeting together to update further and get the latest information on what is being brought forward on this most latest variant, Mr Speaker, that has been identified. We are listening, of course, to the best possible medical advice and evidence coming forward on this new strain, and the best encouragement, of course, that we can make to all Australians is 86.7% double-dose vaccinations, Mr Speaker. This is the strong protections that Australians have built up, and that continues to provide us with a strong preparedness to deal with these strains and these variants as they come. In the Solomon Islands, Mr Speaker, Australian boots are on the ground. 45 Australian Federal Police and 76 Australian Defence Force officers from the 3rd, 6th and 17th Brigade in Townsville, Mr Speaker. They are there on the ground restoring calm. They are there enabling our own Pacific family to be able to deal peacefully with the issues in their own country, Mr Speaker. And I welcome in particular the broader support we've had from both Fiji and Papua New Guinea and New Zealand in the response that we've made to ensure that we can provide for a peaceful environment for these issues to be resolved in the Solomon Islands. But I thank all of those who are there right now in a place, Mr Speaker, that has seen very serious civil unrest. And I thank all of their families as well, because they are going away weeks out from Christmas, Mr Speaker, but they're doing their duty. When it comes to online safety, Mr Speaker, this government, Mr Speaker, is taking action, as we always have, throughout the course of this government, Mr Speaker, to take action against the digital companies and the social media companies to ensure that Australians can be safe online. And the legislation we're bringing forward, Mr Speaker, will unmask the trolls. They'll unmask the trolls, Mr Speaker, and they will also ensure that digital media companies are held to account, Mr Speaker, for what is being done to young people, particularly women and girls in this country.